Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Spera. How'd you like that, guys? From the Seekers of the Supernatural show. I did it because I got a few comments that people wanted me to introduce myself that way. You know, I just made a video about 2 minutes ago. Nice video, I thought it was. Then I went to play it back to put on YouTube, and the thing is in fast motion. I hit the wrong button on the iPhone, and I just went a million miles an hour and you couldn't hear anything. Stupid, huh? I gotta learn how to use these newfangled machines. I know I'm not supposed to even hold the mic this close, but I have air conditioning on in the house, and that din of the air conditioner might come through. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys today. Sorry I haven't been on for a while. I'm not sick or anything, but I am sick of what's going on in this country. I'm sick of what's happening on TV all the time. But I have been busy doing gardening and taking care of Lorraine's cats at her house. She has 2 cats, and one of them has a thyroid problem. I need to apply a gel to the cat's ear twice a day. I need to drive there twice a day. And the house is 40 minutes away each way. So right there it takes, 160 minutes of my time plus the time I'm in the house. So I have been kind of busy, doing different things. But I want to talk a little bit about our society today, how I was growing up, things I experienced, and the attitudes that were back then versus what they are today. Back then, when I was growing up in the 50s and 60s, we had a lot of respect for authority. My father used to tell me, if you ever have a problem, go to see the police, find the cop. And I lived by that. And when I got older, my brother became a police officer, and I followed in his footsteps, and I became a police officer too. Just felt like something I wanted to do. It was a tough job then, and it's a tougher job now. I wouldn't want to be a police officer to this day, at this time, for the things that they go through. And I know how cops are. I used to be one. I know what they're like. 99.9% of them are great people. I, for one, have never run into, when I was on the job, a brutal cop. There are brutal cops, but I never experienced it. I experienced cops that would lay down their life for civilians. They would protect at all costs, if they had to, another person. I know what it was like, and I know how terrible being a police officer could be. I used to get spit on. I used to get called filthy names, pig, a lot. And the hatred and vitriol that they spewed at me back then was terrible, even when you're trying to help them. I remember pulling up to a car one time that was broken down on the side of the road. I thought he was. I rolled my window down and said, "You okay? Everything all right?" Yeah. I'm all right. See ya. Like he didn't want to say thanks for stopping, officer, but I'm okay. That's how it was back then, but that's nothing compared to today. The lawlessness that's happening in the streets. I'm not making this a political video, and I'm not even going to tell you what party I believe in, but you should be able to gather that information yourself by listening to me. The politics today are unbelievable. When I was a kid growing up, there was politics. There was different things going on in the world. Geez, I lived during the Kennedy assassination. But it wasn't like it is today, where people would go off the hook. They're off the charts when it comes to something. If you say something about one party that the other doesn't like, they go berserk. That's not right. We all have opinions. We all have a right to an opinion. You could call me an a-hole. Go ahead. You have an opinion, right? Well, it's not nice, but you could have an opinion. But to be hateful and to want to hurt that other person and smack them over the head or push them or assault them in some other way, that's crazy. Or to attack them over and over on social media for their views. If you go back and see some of my posts on Facebook, you're not going to see vulgarity. You're not going to see me calling people names. That's not the way to live. That's not the way God intended us to be. But that's the way the devil intended us to be. hateful towards one another. United we stand, divided we fall. And the devil loves it when we are in chaos. The devil loves it when we fight amongst each other, because that's how you break up things. That's how you could break up religions and churches that way, by having them divisive. The devil, believe me, is hard at work today, trying to destroy our way of life, trying to destroy us as human beings. I could feel it. I can sense it happening now. It's a momentum, and we're falling right into it. We're falling right into the trap of the devil. I mean, think about it for a second. The hatred that's in America today is at an unknown high, and it's just getting worse. Yes, there are beautiful people out there. There are people that wouldn't hurt a fly. But I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the few that corrupt the many. Instead of you following the example, or someone following the example of a person who's a great person, they start to follow the example of a hateful person and start to buy into that. Well, if we do this, we'll make a change. You'll never make a good change by violence. Wars have proven that. Over in the long run, you may make a change, but you make a lot of misery and destruction, and people's lives ruined forever. We talk about statistics like it's nothing. Only 54,000 soldiers were killed. There's 54,000 men that had families, that had girlfriends and children that they grieve for the rest of their life. We make like it's just a number. It's not a number. They're people. And we should do everything in our power to avoid A, war, and B, violence. We should do everything in our power to promote love and peace and helpfulness to our fellow man. Ed used to tell me all the time, never kick a man when he's down. He was right. Never kick a man when he's down. And my father used to tell me all the time, if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, don't say it. Just don't say it. He was right about that, too. If you don't have anything good to say about somebody, why don't you just keep your mouth shut instead of spewing out all this hateful opinions. Yes, you're entitled to your opinion, but is it the right way to be? There's a right way to say something, and there's a wrong way to say stuff. It's like, go into a crowded movie theater and you yell fire. Is that the right thing to do and have people trample over each other? No, it's not. And, even if there was a fire, there's a way to do that. You tell the usher, you better call the fire department. You don't scream it out. There's a fire, let's go, and you panic everybody. You have to be thoughtful. I think that's the word, thoughtful, and treat people like the golden rule, like the way you want to be treated. Don't you all want to be treated with respect? Don't you all want to be treated with love and compassion and kindness and generosity? Well, to get that, you have to give that. To get kindness, you have to be kind. To get respect, you have to give respect, really. And to love someone, to get love, you have to love someone back. And not be so selfish. Now, I know most of you out there aren't like this. But maybe you could spread the word for me, too, to other people. And you don't have to spread the word by saying it. You spread the word by being that way. It has an effect, just like negative has an effect. Positivity begets positivity, Just like negativity begets negativity. You all want to be better people, I know. Almost everyone I know wants to be happy, wants to be peaceful, wants to be healthy, wants to have fun. So why don't we just start doing that? Start having some fun instead of being miserable on Facebook and Instagram and other places where you spew out bad thoughts. Because that has a ripple effect, people reading it. So we shouldn't be that way. When I was growing up, we had 3 channels on television: ABC, NBC, CBS. That was it. I think a lot of the problems today are the 24-hour news cycles and the many, many channels we have and the social media. I know, though, that things weren't as bad then because it wasn't spread around the world instantly like it is today, and almost like catching fire. Like this thought catches fire with people. I really think that back when I was a kid, times were more innocent. I remember I was in high school, and a buddy of mine came up to me and says, "Hey, hear what happened to Ronnie?" I go, "No, what happened to Ronnie?" "He got sent home today, this morning when he came in." "Well, what did he do?" I said, "Well, what did he do?" "Oh, he came to school. He had burgundy-colored pants on, so they sent him home." That's no lie. Long sideburns. Couldn't have long sideburns. Couldn't have a mustache when I was in high school. When I was growing up, my father said, "You're not going to have a beard, You're not going to grow that beard." Because when I was like 18, I wanted to grow a beard. "You're not going to grow a beard." I grew a beard after, when I moved out. And I still have it today. Maybe that's an act of defiance, I don't know, but at least it's a peaceful one. And I just think that we should be more respectful to each other. Like the comments, that's why I get really upset about the comments that are negative when I get them. From people that know nothing about what they're talking about. I mean, they don't know anything about my life, Ed's life, Loren's life, and then they make these comments. They're charlatans. They weren't charlatans. Oh, they're crooks. They weren't crooks. And I know it because I lived and worked with them, for many, many years. I saw the generosity they had. I remember one time that I was walking down the street with Ed. We had just left a lecture, and Lorraine. And this is about 25 years ago, maybe more. And he says to Lorraine, give me $20. So he never had any money on him, So she hands him a $20 bill. He turns around and hands it to a homeless guy who's looking through the garbage. And I said, "Ed, you gave the guy 20? He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "The guy's got to get something to eat, doesn't he?" I said, "Well, how about if you go get a bottle or something?" He goes, "So what? Make him happy. Who am I to judge him?" That's the kind of guy Ed was. We used to give lectures at like Holiday Inns and other motels. We'd rent a room, and then we'd advertise a presentation. And I was at the door collecting money one time, and Ed walked up to me, and he saw a guy in a wheelchair coming. And the guy handed me the money, and Ed took the money out of my hand and handed it back to the guy. He says, "You already have a seat. Don't worry about it." That's the kind of guy Ed was. One time I was home with my wife. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any food in the house, hardly. I opened the refrigerator up. There's hardly anything in there. I opened the freezer up. There's hardly anything in the freezer. And I said to my wife, "I wonder what we're going to have for supper tonight." And just then I heard a motorcycle pull up to the house. It was Ed on his motorcycle. This is God works in strange ways, I'm telling you. He walks into the house with a bag. He's holding a fresh roasting chicken that he just bought at the grocery store. He goes, "Hey, I bought you guys a chicken." Don't ask me why he did that, but we needed it. That is the kind of guy Ed was, and Lorraine. Very, very generous. The things they've done for Judy and me, I can't even go into. It's mind-boggling. The money they've given us, the money they spent on us. Anytime we went out to eat somewhere, we never had to pay. Usually I didn't have the money anyway, but Ed would always pay the bill. So people who say that really upset me when they say stuff like charlatans, crooks, in it for the money. They are full of it. Because I know the truth, see. I know the truth. These other ones, they just want to be trolls, like you guys say, trolls, and just want to say something negative to make someone feel uncomfortable or feel bad. And that bothers me. Because that's not how we were supposed to be as people. God doesn't want us to be hateful. He doesn't want us to make other people miserable. He really doesn't, but the devil does. The devil loves it when the negative comment comes through for somebody. The devil loves it when somebody has an opinion, a hateful opinion. The devil loves it when somebody attacks somebody or assaults them on the street. They love it. We don't want that to occur. We want it not to happen. We want a free society, but we want a peaceful and loving society. That's what we should be striving for, a peaceful, loving society. And so when I grew up, I had a lot of respect for police. I had a lot of respect for teachers, for everybody, for nurses, doctors. Doctors were like the be-all, end-all to me. They were never wrong, even though we know that everybody can be wrong at some point. Police are good people. I know it because I was one. And I've met a lot of cops, and 99.9 are good people. Sure, there's always a bad apple somewhere, like the one with George Floyd. There's no defending that guy. There's no defending that police officer. There really is. And there's no defending the guys that were standing there around like nothing was going on. They knew. They knew he shouldn't have been doing that. You don't put someone on the ground for 9 minutes. Once you secure them, you handcuff them, you stand them up, you put them in the car, or you put them in the ambulance wherever if he's hurt. But you don't inflict that kind of damage. So we all know that's wrong. To me, that was a very rare occurrence to be that bad. Sure, there's other occurrences, but in the interactions with people that cops have, the millions and millions and millions of interactions, it's only a select few percentage where a problem goes awry like that. That guy was bad, though, no matter how you cut it. We don't want to be that way. We all want to be good. We all want to meet each other in heaven. Now, if you want to meet me in heaven, and I'm older than most of you guys, so hopefully I'll be waiting for you, and hopefully I'll be in heaven. We'll all meet. We'll have a nice discussion on what our lives were like and what we're going to do now that we're with God. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, God exists. The devil exists. Who we choose to follow, that's up to us. You could follow the wrong way and think this is the end of your life anyway. When I die, I'm just going into 6 feet of dirt and there's going to be nothing anyway, so why not enjoy myself and do whatever I want? Or there's God's way, which is following his laws and rules and commandments and asking for forgiveness when you do make a bad mistake. We all have, we all will. No one in this world walking today is a perfect being. No one. The only perfect being is God. The only one. But you could strive to be perfect. Even though you'll never attain it, you strive to be. Just like a baseball player, a golfer, a football player. They always strive for perfection, you know. They don't say, well, I'm going to go out there and try to play an okay game and, yeah, maybe I'll miss a few. Maybe I won't catch a few. I don't know. Who cares? They don't think that way. They think, I want to be perfect out there. I want to do it right. Same with doctors. When they do an operation, they don't just do a haphazard operation. They want to do it perfectly. Our whole lives should be that way, to attain perfection in our lives. And not only skillful perfection that way, but the way we act towards people. To be as nice as we can be and as polite as we can be and as respectful as we could be to other people. You'll feel better for it at the end of the day. Trust me, you will. Today, if you go out, find a random person to compliment. Find a random person to give $1 to. Find a random person to let them cut ahead of you in a grocery line or in a traffic line or hold the door for. You'll feel better. For that moment, you'll feel better. You'll feel you did something that's worthy of being God's children. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this now. I have some things I have to do. In fact, I have to go feed the cats and give them medication to one of the cats again today. So, for now, for all of you out there, I'm Tony Spera.